Hi and welcome to another Craig's World. Welcome to What Is My Madness. So as you might have seen on the last video, we got the head back from ERS from having it skimmed. And I've got to admit, I love it when they're like that. It's all nice and shiny, it's like new, it's like parts, it's like Christmas for me every day. With it also we got the other kit, the head kit with it. Now if you remember, with this we had on this side, actually, we had an awful lot of stuff we took off first. Now we're going to put, with everything we've taken off, it's now got to go in the reverse order. So I don't have to use these for a minute now, but the beautiful thing about this pack is it actually shows you how to tighten them up and the procedure where to go. So let's turn this over and I'll show you. So this will be the front of the engine and this will be switched down there. So if you see that diagram where it shows you one being there, so one would start there, be one. This is how you tighten them up, and it even gives you your newtons of torque to tighten. It's 40 newtons all around, then 60. And that goes off one of your bars. You don't just try and freehand it. So it will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's how it's got to be tightened up to get it correctly tightened down. And in this pack, like I said, you get everything in this pack. Even the all-elusive head gasket. That is what will be. Let me turn this back over. That is what will be on there. So that goes there onto the car when we bolt it all down. And it's lovely when you see them like that. So you know the valves and pistons, and these are where oil goes in and water goes around. It's a very complicated procedure when they do that, but with it as well you also get your exhaust manifold. So which one's the exhaust? That's the exhaust, so that will go on there like that, and then obviously the exhaust is there, and you get all the other bits and bobs. That's intake, top, there's loads on the rocker cover. So I put them exactly where I need them to be, and like I said, that's a godsend. So I will, if I put this on, and it even shows you how to do it and what to do, where to go, what not to do. It's a fabulous bit of kit. I always keep these. So if I put that there, you want to pause it and you can see if you ever do your own Audi and you don't get this with it, that's what you got to do. So we'll just put that to one side because we'll be getting onto that tomorrow. Right, just love when it's like that. And to be fair, I can double check it myself. But 5.5 come off it. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing there now. If you remembered on the last one, there was tiny little holes you could see between the tops there. Nothing. So I know that's absolute. I know that's perfect. So when I put it all back together on Sunday or early next week, can't wait to take it for a drive. I just can't wait to go down the road in this thing. So we go in reverse order. Now what I'm going to do, these, as you might realise, I don't on these type of cars, when I'm doing these, I don't, you can do if you want, where the procedure I do to do like mouse, getting everything perfect. When it's an everyday car like this, I don't really bother. You can do if you want, that's your preference. Nothing's stopping you. And today's film I've got on at the moment, I might have just seen on my other little video. Where are we? Tomb Raider. Love Angelina Jolie. So that'll be on in the background in a minute or two. So as I said, the gentleman, when I got this off that gentleman, I got a lot of brand new aluminium parts, and I can't, on some of them, you've not got a clue where they go. Not got a clue. But we'll find that together as well as we work through the car. That's for there. You see, right. Now, in the car, in that, there's this. Well, I don't know which one is going to be the better choice, to be fair. I don't know whether he already did it. And I don't know whether to change it. The difference, it shouldn't make a difference, that clamps down. Because the hard part with this is once the head goes back on, these at the back are very hard to take off, and they did have a little leak from behind from it. And I do not know, because I tried to examine everything. I'm pretty much doubtful he would have changed that, but it does look a lot newer than what that was. So I don't know what to do for the best on that one. Because this is a sensor, you see. You know what, on that one, I'm going to put the original one back on. Give it a going over. Now, all of this, there's a slight marking to it. And what I generally like to do, I just get a little bit of wet and dry, which is over there. Just give it a 600 wet and dry. Just to take any imperfections out before it goes back. As you know, I always keep wet and dry to hand. It's just, I have to do the head. When we put the head on, I've got to do this with the top of the engine, which I'll show you that procedure as well before we try to make it as flat as possible. And with this, as we say, try and keep it as flat as you can. The slightest imperfection, because this is one of the water outlets. There you go, nice and smooth. Right, so what we will do, I'll put you on a time lapse now with me putting all this back together, and we shall go from there. Okay, second attempt with the plane going over. This is the oil that's come out of what I was calling Riley, but I'm now calling her Cox. So this is what happens when you can tell water mixes with oil in your head. It ends up like that, and that's what's come out of her. So I know the procedure we've done with the head, because the head's in there all done. That's what happens when your coolant goes in your oil. Not a good thing. So my next procedure for this, and you've got to be very careful, because don't forget I have undone the oil which you've just seen on a previous video, and what we have to do now is all of the head I've got to clean, and I've got to clean the pistons, but all of this all has to be cleaned. But I go over it first just with a flat Stanley blade, just to see if there's any big high spots, and then I have to then get some sandpaper, the wet and dry stuff, and very gently go all over the head to get the head as shiny as we possibly can. But all we're doing is just trying to take the rough stuff off at the moment, just to see if there's any other damage, but being an Audi I doubt there will be, because they're fine. Right, let me get some sandpaper. And this has to be flat, so getting a little board, and it's just as simple. As that, and as you can see, we're getting it back to the metal, and that's exactly what we need. Because it was one of these, well, mainly that one that had gone. And always remember, this has to be flat. You can't dig in. It has to be flat. because how you see it, these ports, they're water ports, and those and those are oil, which sends the oil around your engine. And one of the things that I will be doing before the head goes back on, this is the thermostat, and I can see it said water around it, it said Bovie Bond, that sealing agent onto it. It's just, I will have to just move the alternator slightly, but that and one of the, it's just going to be easy just to unclip it there with the pipe and get a new one. And because the sump's open at the minute, and you can see how easy the pistons are to move, so that lines up with my mark for top dead center, so that's this one. To be fair, I don't want a lot. I just want to take the carbon off, and I can do that. Where's that little brush? There's the little brush. I wonder if we can see the ones where it heated up the the piston that heated up. What's the mark on that? 807. This you don't have to do, but you know me, being clean. 1.8 TVTN, that one says. Like I said, so these, what we're seeing now, will have been when it was first built. Nobody's ever seen this since then. Just cleaning the heads. Like I said, there's no scoring or nothing in the bores, which I'm very made up over. I know this is a long-winded out procedure, but it pays you dividends, as I showed you on my other cars. When you clean or you get stuff like this ready, when we come back, well, tomorrow when I start putting this back and the head back together, it just makes it so easy just to go straight on. I don't have to worry about it. It's already been pre-done. Like I said, them balls bang on. Let's just take some. Right. So we still have to take the water pump off, which is here, and the tensioner guide there. But we've still got a fair way to go. So that is very close to top dead center. When we come to realign it, which it's there. That's top dead center, which is spot on with that mark that we put on. So she's coming together. Now I've done the back side with that block. Just going to do it very lightly with a bit of wet and dry. Where I don't want a lot of moisture, to be fair, on this. Just so it's very light. And that is it complete now. So I know that this now is done. So when we come back to the fitment side, I don't have to worry about it. Moisture will just run out at the bottom because the front plug's not in yet. So top dead center is there, because the top dead center mark is very vital when we come back to reinstall the head. Because they all have to line up with the cams. So we're getting there. She's coming along very nicely. Just there's a lot of things like this that is just mind-boggling to me. Especially put a cable strap around it when it should be tied. A clip. Can't figure out where. Take that off. Because don't forget, a lot of these will have to be cleaned, resorted out to be put back in. Because of all the crap that was in them. Right, well, I'm going to take this one to the bench at the moment. And this will be my one, this little one finished. Because then we can get that done. And then it gets start being put back together now.